Hello. You get three hellos this morning because I'm extra pumped to be here to go over the news, notes, trade ideas, and everything else that is important when it comes to maintaining profitability here across these markets, right? It's not easy markets that we are trading. A lot of people are confused. I am very proud, and I will not be silent about the fact that we are not some of them, right? We've been consistently crushing the market, crushing this movement. We've been a part of every major move that has happened this year. And I want to continue to be a part of those, right? But all that happens here, pre-market, during the pre-market prep session, as well as during the Q&As, right? For my people that are enrolled in Get Some, for my people that are a part of Facebook group subscription, right? All of those wins happen pre-market and post-market. What you do during market hours is just routine, right? It's like when you hop in your car, you turn the ignition, right? You switch the Prindle to drive. All that is routine. It's second nature. It's subconscious. The subconscious is what happens during market hours. That is what you have already been trained to do. How you execute during market hours is a reflection of how you spend pre-market and post-market, right? If you're nervous, if you're not executing quickly, if you're not executing with efficiency, if you're not executing with conviction, that is a representation of how you have been spending your time outside of market hours, right? So this morning's kind of rant, as I go into our daily session where we go over all the news and notes that keep us profitable, in crazy markets. My rant this morning is make sure you are putting in the work, whatever work is necessary for you during pre-market and post-market times, right? You might say, hey, for some people, all they need is this, or some people, they don't even show up at the Q&As, or, some people, what matters for you, right? That is the biggest thing for markets. What do you need to do personally in order to be successful, right? I know people, my girlfriend, she can wake up 30 minutes before she needs to be in the car and she will be on time to work. I am not that way. I have to wake up at least an hour before I need to be anywhere, right? That is because I know how I am. I'm not trying to change how I am. I move slowly. If anybody else moves slowly in the morning, throw a 2 in the chat. If you move fast in the morning, throw a 3 in the chat. I move slowly. I get up and I'm like an old man. Wake up, I pray, check my phone, scroll through some news, mosey around a little bit. I'll walk into a different room. What am I here for? Da-da-da. I don't try to change who I am innately. I'm knowledgeable of that and I compensate for that, right? So for anybody who says, oh, I shouldn't have to, go over the posts in the Facebook group after hours, no one else does. Yes, they do, right? And if you are missing stuff, you're missing out on plays. How did I miss out on this swing? How do I miss out on this? How do I miss out on that? Tristan said 2.5. Tristan, you somewhere in the middle? It depends on the day, right? It might be on certain days, right? You get up and you're moving fast, and the other days you get up and moving a little bit slowly. But yeah, right? Do what is necessary for you. Otherwise, you're the one that's blocking your blessing. And I don't know who this is for, but that is just something that was put on my heart. It's so important because a lot of the times everything is there for us to succeed, but we aren't willing to acknowledge who we are in order to get there, right? It's like people who, there's some people that can't break down a lot of protein. Their body doesn't break it down. It turns into acid and it gives them indigestion. If you know that physically, like biologically, you are like that, right? Like me, I have a small bladder. I know, hey, listen, I'm going to have to go to the bathroom a bunch of times a day. Like that's just how it is. That's how I am. It is what it is, right? I compensate for that. Before I get on a long road trip, I'm using the bathroom, right? If I need to tell someone to stop, I tell them to stop, right? I know physically what my predispositions are. The same goes for trading. You have to be painfully self-aware of where you are. What does it take for you to succeed? And do that, right? Do that, because otherwise, will you ever succeed? No, right? No, it does not magically come into place. If you know, hey, I need to make sure that I take time to review the post after market, that the charts are there after market, that I review pre-market, right? And I set all my alerts. Do that, right? Do what is necessary, because again, nothing just happens spontaneously. I want to make sure that everybody understands that. So whether you are just starting your trading journey, you've been doing your trading journey, right? You've been on it for a while, regardless, if you're not seeing the results that you want to see, you need to be self-aware and tweak whatever needs to be tweaked in order for you to get there, right? Because there's too much opportunity in markets right now for you to not be making significant amounts of money consistently, right? Insignificant being whatever that is for you. If you're trading with $100, right, that $100 should be flipping and tumbling for you. $200 should be flipping and tumbling for you. You don't have to be turning $100 into $1,000 every week, right? You don't need to be having 50K days every day. You don't need to be having $1,000 days every day, right? But in terms of there being high quality setups and you executing on them, if you're finding yourself struggling with that, then you need to go back and say, okay, what do I need to be doing? And put in that extra work. It's worth it, right? Nowhere else in the world can you go in with this amount of money and come out with exponentially more at the end of the day, other than the casino, right? There's no other place in the world where you can do that. It's worth it, right? It's literally worth it for you to be able to print your own money. It is worth it. If you can't find it worth it in your heart to go to sleep a little bit later or put in a little bit extra time instead of watching Netflix or waking up a little bit earlier in order to put in the time that's necessary, then that is on you, right? But the market has plenty of opportunity available. So for anybody who, this is for, this is that, that friendly kick in the butt to do what you need to do in order to get where you need to be, right? Because it is a very freaking profitable place. And, you want to be in on that. You want to be involved in that. You want to be, with that. I mean, look at Tesla this morning. Like I told you guys at close, that breakout area, we rushed right over it, that breakout area. Called Tesla 2 weeks ago, right? And now we get it starting moving. I mean, look at where it is pre-market. Even as soon as the bell closed, it continued to push up, right? So executing, right? Being a part of things that you're warned about, right? That is huge. And you want to just make sure you're putting in all the time and effort in order to do that. So let's go ahead now and dive into what we got going on today. And everybody throw a 5 in the chat if you understand that, if you feel that, if you're with that. You got to do what's necessary for you. Don't say, why aren't I like this person? I'm not this person, right? And that's something that I had to come to grips with, and I did as a kid, and I live probably as a teenager, and I live so much better as an adult now because of it. I know who I am, right? I know who I am, and I know what I have to do, and I still have people tell me, why is your alarm set for that early? You don't have to get up that early. I know me. Let me do me. You do you, right? If you can get ready 30 minutes before you got to be somewhere, awesome, right? But I know me. That ain't me. I'm going to wake up. I might listen to music. I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to do whatever, right? So make sure you're doing you and do whatever you need to in order to succeed. Now, in terms of our news this morning, we got headlines all over the place. Now, clarity or confusion are top news. The SEC gunning for crypto. So the Securities Exchange Commission is ramping up its crackdown on crypto, filing a lawsuit against Coinbase, whose ticker is Coin, C-O-I-N, just a day after suing Binance. So the SEC literally just sting operation, right? Bust through the doors, guns blazing. While the allegations are different, Coinbase centers around the registration of securities and market functions, while Binance includes fraud and efforts to evade. The two are similar in other ways. The cases should provide more clarity around crypto rules, as well as the scope and authority of regulators over crypto platforms. Now, the bigger picture, in the early innings of the crypto experiment or revolution, depending on who you ask, digital asset firms took a similar approach to trading or to traditional companies that make waves with innovation. In some respects, it was like the emergence of gig workers or the gig economy, which steamrolled through tax and labor laws until things were eventually regulated. A similar view, the regulation would bend to innovation, was adopted early on in the crypto craze, but more recently it has become apparent that this is not going to happen. So the investing public has the benefit of U.S. securities laws. Crypto should be no different. And these platforms and intermediaries need to come into compliance, SEC Chair Gary Gensler declared. Frankly, the public should really be more careful. We don't need more digital currency. We already have digital currency. It's called the U.S. dollar. It's called the euro, or it's called the yen. They're all digital right now. I mean, they're not wrong, but that's also completely spoken like the SEC chair, right? Back in March, Coinbase received a Wells notice for a potential enforcement action from the SEC, though the company said the agency refused to respond to its proposals regarding registration. In April, Coinbase even sued the SEC, seeking to force a response on its rulemaking petition, while the CFTC subsequently accused Binance of breaching certain trading and derivatives rules. The latest lawsuits cement regulators' jurisdiction over the crypto industry using federal securities laws and investor protections, instead of an expansion of the rulebook or updated framework strongly sought out by crypto proponents. Now, in terms of outlook, investors sent shares of Coinbase plunging 12% on Tuesday after the considerable foreshadowing in the months prior. In the article, the downtrend could be stronger than you think. Seeking Alpha investing group leader Daniel Sarita called the extended slump following the SEC enforcement action in March, and followed up with another piece, Coinbase stock don't fight the SEC at the beginning of May. So it looks like this guy was on top of it. Coinbase's woes don't end with legal trouble. The company recently reported its fifth consecutive quarterly loss while suffering nearly 1.3 billion in net customer outflows following yesterday's lawsuit. That's the big thing, right? You get lawsuits coming in, people have been burned enough by these crypto platforms. So what are they going to do? Take their money out, right? We've already been talking about that the past year and a half. If you own crypto, it needs to be in a cold wallet, right? You need it on some type of ledger wallet or some type of cold storage that is not one of these platforms, because any one of these platforms can die. We saw with FTX, they literally had Super Bowl commercials. You can't fly much higher than having a Super Bowl commercial or having people endorsing you like the likes of Tom Brady and all these other, all these other huge celebrities. You can't fly higher than that, right? And even they fell. So nowhere is safe. We've been talking about that. We're not a crypto show or a crypto group. But that is something that, at this point, it's just common sense. And Coinbase right now is struggling because of it, right? So they're plunging, and they're seeing even more net outflows, just like bank runs, right? Whenever banks are seen as unreliable, people will just start withdrawing, right? So it's the same thing right now that we're seeing with crypto, that we're seeing with Coinbase, and it caused crypto to get a little gut punch there. If I remember correctly, Bitcoin was approaching inverse head and shoulders weekly breakout support. That's just off the top of my head. Where was that at? And again, I know we're not a crypto show, but it was just on my mind. So yeah, it had weekly inverse head and shoulders breakout at 25,345, so 25,345, and we literally tapped that. Where's the low? Yep, the low. We tapped that exact level. I'm telling you guys, charting is amazing, right? Charting is amazing. Even with news about the SEC and this, that, and the third, where do we find support on Bitcoin? Right at that important technical level. If you know how to read charts, it's game over for you and worrying about money things, right? You literally just go in, you chart, you execute, and it's as simple as that, right? And I'm not even a Bitcoin guy. I'm not actively trading Bitcoin or anything. But it's just like, once you learn how to read charts, you can do it anywhere. Futures, Forex, stock market, stock options. And unfortunately, not being able to read charts and not having a trading system causes a lot of people to skip around. Listen, you struggling in the stock market is not going to be solved by going to the futures market. You struggling, in the crypto market is not going to be solved by you going to the Forex market. Everyone said, and I've seen so many people do it, right? They start out, oh, hey, I want to learn options. Oh, man, you know what? This is actually too hard for me. Oh, I'm going to do crypto. Crypto's a little bit tough. I'm going to do futures. Oh, you know what? Futures, I don't really know. I'm going to do Forex. It's the biggest market ever. These financial assets aren't the issue. You're the issue. Each one of these different assets pays people tons of money. So if none of them are working for you, you are what is not working for you, right? And I just see way too much of it where it's somebody, oh, hey, options are amazing. 2 months later, oh, hey, I'm in futures. Futures are amazing. Oh, hey, actually, crypto, the future, right? This is the new wave. Amazing. It's like, listen, you are hopping from thing to thing and being a dilettante instead of spending the time and putting in the effort to become great at one, right? And if you're a master of none, your account will record that over time, right? You might have a good run with options for a bit, you start struggling, you leave. You might have a good run with futures for a bit, you start struggling, you leave. Same thing, crypto, all the rest of them. And then you look at the end of it, and for 10 years, you were running around like a chicken with his head cut off, and all you have to show for it is 50K in the red, right? And that's how it stacks up. So you want to make sure you commit to something, right? And you go after that thing. Sorry, I think I have a little under the skin pimple. For anybody who knows, those things are the worst, but I can see it like forming. But it's all right. Not going to steal my black boy joy this morning. But yeah, just make sure that you focus on something, stick to it, and become great at it. But it's not the thing that's the issue, right? It's you more often than not. If you also think like that and you just take responsibility of things, it's like a cheat code in adulthood. Saying sorry, cheat code, knowing yourself, cheat code, and actually spending time and controlling what you can control and not just hopping from thing to thing instead of blaming the thing. That's another cheat code, right? And again, I'm not even 30, but these are just things that I've found that have, allowed me to be very successful in adulthood, in relationships and fiscally as well. Now, in terms of M&A news, merger and acquisition news, right? Let's see here. Merger mulligan, bringing an end to a bitter split in the golf world. The PGA Tour and upstart Saudi-backed rival Live Golf have announced a merger to unify the sport and its players. Perhaps the most immediate commercial upshot of the deal is a boost to media coverage of the sport, with all its stars coming together as one. Live Golf drew key players away from the PGA Tour, but then had serious trouble getting media organizations interested in paying it for its events. ESPN, who's owned by Disney, CBS, who's owned by Paramount, ticker PARA, NBC, who's owned by Comcast, and Fox, whose ticker is Fox, all passed on covering the league, while some already had existing deals with the PGA Tour. Other broadcasters and golf-related stocks are also on watch. So there was a lot of controversy around this. Will this end up resulting in any type of like definitive movement for any of these broadcast tickers? I don't know. I doubt it. But in terms of, kind of what I mean, you guys already know how I feel about Disney, right? I love Disney going long. Disney, I like Disney short term right now. Disney's up pre-market, right? Things are looking good for Disney. And I'm excited about its future, both short term and long term again. So if you're not, Disney is a great, long position to be in. They've been beaten down, and they look good on the weekly here, coming off of a weekly peak below and fail. They could push up, to really break the weekly downtrend and rock it. So again, you might miss Nvidia, you might miss Apple, you might miss this. There are plenty of stocks. If you focus on what you miss, what will you continue to do? Miss, right? So don't focus on what you're missing, right? You have plenty of time for a number of different stocks, Tesla being one of them, right? Which we hopped on a few weeks ago. It's been very profitable, right? It will continue to be profitable. And we'll be able to secure a big bag on Tesla this morning, considering how high we're opening and the fact that we have lottos, right, heading into today. So there are plenty of things left that will pay you a bag, but if you're focusing on the bag that you missed, you will struggle. Let's see here. In terms of consumer news, I thought this was interesting. So car thefts. New York City has joined other major U.S. cities in suing Hyundai Motor and Kia. It alleges that the South Korean automakers were negligent and created a public nuisance by manufacturing vehicles dangerously susceptible to theft. The controversy surrounds immobilizers and a failure to install them in their cars for much of the past decade. Around 977 Hyundai and Kia vehicles were reported stolen in NYC for the first 4 months of 2023. Wow. And that's up 660% compared with the same period a year earlier. Be careful, guys, out there. If you have a Hyundai or you have a Kia, because they are stealing them. And I know you guys have probably been aware of this, but of course, as the economy gets worse, thefts get worse, right? Crimes get worse. And you guys probably heard about that viral TikTok challenge with Kia and Hyundai. If you have, throw a 7 in the chat if you heard about that. It was basically showing people how to hotwire and steal Hyundais and Kias. And then it went viral on TikTok. One of the reasons why I personally believe, again, that TikTok is like a plant. If you, and this caused, the loss of life. Like there were teenagers that were stealing these cars, getting in accidents and dying. One car, the whole car, did not make it because they hotwired the car, stole it like they saw off a TikTok, and they ran up under the back of a tractor trailer. So whenever I see a platform that is like actively making things viral that literally cause unrest and loss of life in the US, I don't trust that platform, right? It's as simple as that. And that's really where we were at with TikTok. But yeah, I think that's crazy that it's gotten to the point where the thefts of the cars are so bad that major US cities are suing the car makers. Like that's crazy. Also, if you have a Kia, apparently people are stealing oh man, I am not good with cars. I don't know what it's called. I gotta ask someone. I think it was my mom that was telling me about that. But people are stealing a specific part. It's not the starter. I don't know what it is, but people are stealing a specific part out of the car, like just rolling up in people's driveways and I guess going underneath the car and just stealing that part and leaving, right? And you can't use the car without it. But apparently it's selling for a lot of money right on the street. So people are doing what they need to do. Speaking of which, there you go, Disney, right? Disney testing, what is that? Hourly bull flag breakout right here, pre-market. Boom. Money, people, right? Tesla making money for us today. Disney making money for us today. If you're not in Disney, right, we're peaking above 92.51 right now. You can, if we hold above 92.51 on the hourly, then we're good. I just go ahead, as long as we hold it at open, I just go ahead and enter. if you're not in, right? Don't wait. Close it if we don't close above when the hourly close. But as of right now, too many people missing out on things because they're being, too conservative here when you're, you can only miss out on so many things before there's no opportunity left to get in, right? So just play it like that and then manage things accordingly. Disney does not have expensive contracts. You buy one contract of Disney for $50. Pretty sure if I asked anybody on here, hey guys, I'm stranded without a phone, can I have $50? You give it to me. Don't be scared to then trade $50 just because you're trading it, right? Treat it just like any other money that you treat. When you go out to dinner and they're like, oh, your bill, your portion of the bill is $50, you'd pay it, right? You wouldn't think about it. If you lost $50, it would suck. You wouldn't cry over it. People think about putting $50 in a trade, and it's like asking them to give up their firstborn and all their inheritance. They're like, I don't know, I'm just so scared. It's $50, man. It's $50. Do it, try it, see what happens. But Disney right now looking good. Pre-market breaking over 92.51. We hold that catalytic converter. You got it, Viv. Catalytic converter. That's what they're stealing. I don't know what that is, but apparently it's something important for cars, and they're stealing the crap out of those things. But yeah, 92.51, guys. We're peeking over it literally right now. Disney lotto calls looking good. We do have it's testing. What is that? Is that weekly downtrend? Pretty sure, is it? Let me see. Or is that daily? Let me check in. Check in and see what we got going on. Yeah, kind of like daily, but I mean, I like Disney. We already broke the daily downtrend yesterday, the most immediate daily downtrend, and I like Disney continuing to push here. We can remove that because that line actually that I had up there is not even relevant. So liking Disney this morning, they're looking very good. So again, free money here being printed on the pre-market prep session. Now, in terms of commodities news, dam destruction, U.S. wheat futures in Chicago are on the move again amid fears of an escalation in the war in Ukraine. Torrents of water are flowing through a hole in the Russian-controlled Nova Kakhovka Dam, which holds as much water as the Great Salt Lake in Utah, threatening hundreds of thousands of people with imminent flooding. Separately, Ukraine said an ammonia pipeline was damaged by Russian shelling in the Kharkiv region. The incidents add to wheat supply worries as dry weather occupies part of Europe and Russia, which helped lift U.S. and European futures earlier this week. Now, in terms of today's markets, is everything even where this was at when this news came out? Let me see. Looks like SPY is opening roughly where it closed yesterday, maybe a little bit higher, but not really. I think probably slightly higher than where we closed yesterday. I think I'm just gonna skip over this and hurry up and finish up so that we have plenty of time for the pre-market analysis over in the Facebook group. Again, if you're not part of the Facebook group and you have enrolled in Stock Options Made Easy, you are eligible to join it. That's where I'm calling out these trades that are making people all this money daily, right? Make sure that you're enrolled in that. All you have to do is go to adamhollandeducates.com and you can enroll. Pretty sure everybody that's here is already enrolled in that. But if you're not, you're missing out on money that's being printed every single day, as well as big plays like NVIDIA, which again, if you brought NVIDIA calls when the downtrend broke, right, you're turning that $700 that it costs you for those calls that expire a number of months out into $12,000 to $15,000, right? Same thing can happen with these long Tesla calls if Tesla goes to revisit all-time highs. So again, the payoff is there. You just need to make sure that you're in the room and you're executing on what is being called out, because you can make a small fortune from a single move or two moves or three moves, right? You just need to actually be there when the move is being called out, and you need to execute when the move is called out. In terms of data here, today's economic calendar, not really anything too important. So what else is happening? We'll finish up with our rapid fire bullet point rundown. BlackRock, we don't see major central banks coming to the rescue. Goldman back to 1 in 4 chance of recession as SVB dust settles at Silicon Valley Bank. Boeing stock declines on delay in 787 Dreamliner airplane deliveries. I feel like that's all Boeing does nowadays is delay things. Ford, ticker F, nears deal to sell its plant in Germany. Chinese automakers lead bids. General Electric, ticker GE, to sell stake in GE Healthcare valued at $2 billion. Merck, ticker MRK, sues U.S. government to halt Medicare drug pricing program. Canopy Growth, ticker CGC, booted from Canada's S&P/TSX Composite Index. It's crazy because, I mean, wheat stocks, were crushing it for a while, and that was, one of them, Canopy Growth, and looks like it's getting kicked off Canada's S&P. Shopify stock jumps after closing sale of logistics unit to Flexport. I did see that yesterday. The shop was moving, but we had plenty of things, ourselves that were moving on. They were moving and doing great and paying us. That's important again to realize. You're never going to get everything, right? Something will always be missed. The S&P 500 has 500 stocks in it, right? There are thousands of different equities you can be involved in. You're not going to get them all. Just make sure that you're grateful for what you got, right? Whatever you got, be appreciative of it. It's more than zero, right? Everything over zero is a plus, and keep it pushing. Tingo, ticker TIO, plunges amid new short report from Hindenburg Research. So no idea what Tango even does, but that might be more of like a meme stock speculative type look for anybody that is into that. When you have kind of news like that comes out. But overall, that'll do it. That'll do us in, right, for the pre-market prep session for 6/7/2023. Congrats to you guys for tuning in, investing in yourselves, right? That's always going to net the biggest return. Again, what happens during market hours is a formality. What really matters is what you do before that bell and after that bell. I'm telling you from experience, right? What you do before and after the bell is everything. So let's go ahead and get that analysis in. Thank you for tuning in, right? Make sure if you got anything valuable from this, just show love to the account, show love to the reels they're getting put out each and every day. Make sure you watch them because there is free education being pushed on those reels, right? Watch them, take them in, understand them. And other than that, have a great rest of the day. Get ready to take some profit on Tesla. Already an amazing day, even before the bell rings. And yeah, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow morning for our next pre-market prep session. Have a good one.